Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Thursday, October 17th, 2024. It is the day of the swamp creature. It is also the day when we are getting the October full moon. Oftentimes it's called blood moon, sometimes hunter's moon. A lot of our full moons have different names, but what it does have in common is this air of wildness and very primal instincts. So I looked up a few ideas that you might want to bring into your ritual tonight. You might do some additional protections for difficult transitions, especially if you have had a roughish kind of year. Set the tone right now and also reinforce that with your sound ritual that things are going to be going differently with the next start of the next spiritual cycle. You're going to make different decisions. You've made some adjustments. You're not going to carry over the old baggage. This would be a really good night to set the tone for that. You could do rituals to set powerful new beginnings, very much in that same vein. Rituals to heal, let go of the past. Again, it's about let's get rid of the gunk that's making us unwell. And then you might do some meditation to, get your third eye into more working order, light up a new path. It's all about, where have we starting at this most base, primitive, primal place to where we've gotten all of the junk that we've brought with us so far. What do we get rid of? What is essential? And how can we move forward? How can we get from perhaps a very low point for us and get into a better place? And then I found a tarot spread for you. Three cards. It's very simple. You don't always have to have a big spread if you don't want to. First card is what do I need to do to prepare for the darker days ahead? Especially since the equinox, the energy has really been turning in. We're not as focused on the outside world, and that's natural enough because the outside world it's going to sleep. And hopefully, wherever you live, you are able to observe that much more firsthand. So, we are going into a quieter part of the year. We are going into much darker days. So, what do you need to do to prepare for it? And then, second card, what messages am I missing from the spirits who guide me? I don't think we are in any lack of direction from unseen forces. I think there's plenty of spirits, including spirits who are guardians over us, various deities, ancestors, all sorts of things. I think they are constantly giving us information and little nudges that can be of aid to us. The issue is us listening and us perceiving these things and understanding and analyzing in what direction we are meant to apply this information. That's as usual, the issues usually ourselves, and so this card might help you perhaps reset yourself if you've gotten the wrong end of the stick about something. And then the final card, how can I make how can I best make use of my time in the colder months? Because we're going to be cooped up inside, and there's a variety of things we could be do to focus our energies on as we get in more so into a hibernation mode. So, what is it that you need to be hibernating on? What ideas should you be developing? How can you use your quiet time? Is this the time to do a lot more internal work? Are there wounds that you need to heal from? Are there things that you need to correct about yourself? Are there new habits that you really need to start reinforcing so you can pursue your goals in a less obstructed ways? What are you going to do at this time? There's a lot of options for you. So hopefully that card will point you in the right direction. Now for our astrology. The sun is in Libra, cardinal air, representing justice. The moon begins in second quarter Aries, cardinal fire, representing beginnings. Then at 6:20 a.m. Central Time, that's when we have, officially the full moon. And then at 2:26 p.m. Central Time, it goes void, of course. And then at 3 p.m. Central Time, we're in third quarter Taurus, and it's still the full moon. Technically the next 3 nights are. But it'll be third quarter Taurus, fixed Earth, and it's representing the need to pursue values. So beginnings, pursuing values. This is something that I would encourage you to keep in mind, especially if you're, in all likelihood, you're not going to be doing a morning full moon ritual, with the sun shining and everything else. It can be done. And if that's the time you have to do it. But I would imagine that most of us are going to be doing something this evening. And so when we are shifting from the Aries energy into the Taurian energy, that ritual should reflect that. Um, because by the time you're in Taurus, you've already had your beginning from Aries. So you're pursuing the value. So you need to be having a direction to go into, and it needs to be a direction you believe in, and that'll help you better harness and make the most of those lunar energies. Then Mercury is in Scorpio, fixed water, representing spiritual. Venus is in Scorpio, fixed water, representing passion. And then at 2:28 p.m. Central Time, Venus will go into Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign representing generosity. So we're going from kind of the wilds and the throes of passion into generosity, something that's perhaps a bit more focused upon the companionship, the shared interest, the giving to your partner and to receiving from your partner, something that isn't quite so raw. I'm not going to finish that thought. There's a change of mood, I'll put it that way. Then Mars is in Cancer, cardinal water, representing seeking security. Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini, mutable air, which is broader perspectives. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which is to redefine dreams. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, fixed earth, representing rebellion. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which is spiritual awakenings. And Pluto's in Capricorn, cardinal earth, representing reconstruction. For our retrograde reminders, Jupiter is about reconnecting with your true path. For Saturn, it's reclaim your authority. For Uranus, reconsider how you rebel. For Neptune, reclaim your magic. And for Chiron, restore the heroic spirit. So for our full moon, that means it's time for manifestation and transformation. And then the Taurus moon that we move into later today, the do's are grounded tasks, realism, focusing, and the don'ts are trying to change someone else's mind, anything that requires fast reactions or improvisation. Now, this is the day of Jupiter, and the Jupiter retrograde may help us see beyond our usual perspective. This is likely to result in us feeling the need, or at least seeing the benefit, of making changes in the way we approach things, or people, or situations. And then we have the Taurus moon bringing a welcome spirit of practicality to this endeavor. So I really do foresee this working together fairly trouble free, probably pretty nicely. So definitely enjoy and make the most. Now, our tarot for the day is the Ace of Bats. Ace represents the essence of the suit, and the suit is the rational masculine, projective energy, air element, and thought. And the keywords are insight, honestly confronting pain or conflict, and courage. So, this is an interesting card to be coming up when we have that full moon, especially since that full moon is also very focused upon what needs to happen next, what do we need to get rid of, what is going to sustain us, how can we prepare for what's to come. And I think that the ace of bats is really encouraging that thought process of what was, what is, what will be, and dealing with all of these things in a no anesthetic kind of way of, I can take it, I just need to recognize what it is, and then I need to make some decisions and simply carry out those decisions. It's a lot more cerebral kind of energy. It's still an acknowledgement of any pain that we might have experienced, but it isn't about assigning that pain undue importance or focusing on it at the expense of practical action. Then today's Celtic triad. Three more things worse yet as masters than as servants: labor, money, and kings. So when it comes to work, it is better to work for a living rather than living to work. And it does seem that some people are confusing the two. Now, Gen Z is not. It's very interesting because for a long while, Gen Z has been criticized as being lazy, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I think a lot of these kids are wanting to really harness and focus their energies on something that's going to pay off, something to where you are actually getting something exchange for your work rather than just, oh, you get to continue to exist, but your whole existence is essentially working for this job that doesn't love you, doesn't care about you, isn't interested in your long term interest, and certainly will not help you secure companionship or a family or friendship or anything of that sort. So I think they are seeing that work needs to be kept into perspective, that there are natural limitations and boundaries that should be existing for these jobs, and that there's a difference between working a job or a career that you have a genuine passion and talent for, and something that essentially, it pays the bills. You show up, you do a good job because it does pay the bills, but you're not going to treat it like you just made a discovery in brain surgery. It has its importance, but it doesn't have undue importance. And I think that's what this triad is getting at as well. And then money. Money is a tool for exchange, but it cannot take the place of a genuine purpose in life. Even if you accumulate a great deal of money and you get to the point, oh, I never really have to worry about bills or ordinary things ever again because I have enough. I've got all that I need. But it can't give you love. It can't give you friendship. It can't give you a moment of insight or delight. There are so many things that money in of itself it can't give us, and it can't even necessarily buy for us. There's still the component of the human spirit and the human need to live life. And while money can pay for that life, it cannot actually create the life. We have to do that ourselves. And then the matter of kings. A monarch or a politician, because so many politicians, they like to think that they're kings. They certainly act like it. These positions, they can be beneficial if they actually serve the people. These should be matters of service, but it gets very destructive very quickly if it's tyrannical or arbitrary, or if it's taking undue liberties with the people. So I don't think I really need to add anything to that. We have daily proof. Now, today's magical correspondences, they are centered on the theme of prosperity. The color is green, the plant is nutmeg, the animal is the cow, and the crystal is peridot. Now, the thing about prosperity, it isn't just about having funds and possessions. It's a part of it, but it isn't those just exclusively that. It's also about enjoying what you possess, acknowledging it as a blessing, whether we have a great deal or we have, not very much. If we have enough, if we are an uh, if we are able to start building up a future for ourselves, then we are experiencing prosperity. And I think it's something to practice thankfulness and gratitude for. Now, for today's practices, cooking magic because it's a Thursday. And then, what do you observe in society that is swamp monster like? I have a whole series of politicians that their nasty little faces just sprung into my head. I tell you what, if there are people who need to be fired in life, you could usually start with people in public office. Then, how can you cultivate Jupiterian energy? How can the world benefit from Jupiterian wisdom? And Thursdays are practical days. Maybe you'll dust, maybe you'll smudge, do some kind of housework, get everything tidy, and get that energy circulating. Don't let it stagnate in your home. So I found a few ideas for kitchen witchery you might want to try that all these dishes have some association with Samhain to one degree or another. Herbal breads for abundance, squash soup for cleansing, um, pumpkin scones for success, pumpkin anything. Call me a basic bitch, but I do love my pumpkin spice, and I don't care what anyone else thinks about that. Ugh. Then apple cider for balance, mushroom pasta for divination, cold cannon for wealth, and these are just a few ideas that you might try. There are so many choices. What is it that really says autumn to you, and what specifically says Samhain to you? Go with your instincts. Make the most of these seasonal delights and ingredients and all of their magical properties. You can have a lot of fun with this time of year. And then the journal prompt for today. Do you keep a shrine for the unseen presences in your home? And if you don't, this could be an opportunity to explore pros and cons and what you might hope to get out of it. And if you do, this is an opportunity to really articulate what you've done, why you've chosen the things that you have, what it means to you. And you might also, in the course of this, think, do I want to expand it? Do I want to focus on just one thing? A lot of different directions. All right, starting to cough again. So I will leave you guys. Have a magical and delightfully spooky day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.